Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So, just recently, a lot of mess came to the surface of the media concerning the members of the Breakfast Club. Of course, they're not a club anymore. They're not together anymore, which is no surprise to me. But some mess hit the media, like I said, concerning Angela Yee. She was on the Tamron Hall show. And listen, Tamron Hall has been hot lately because she's been interviewing these people. Okay, they had been sitting down, talking with her. She's been asking the hard questions, y'all, and some stuff has been coming out. So Angela Yee sat down with Tamron Hall, and they were discussing some things that happened between her and the Breakfast Club. Kind of some vague things for the most part, but her discussing, that last tweet that she sent out, talking about how the Breakfast Club was no more and how things were for her, receiving a lot of the backlash that she got because of things that Charlemagne and DJ Envy said and how they conducted some of their interviews with different people who they conducted them with. And she was saying, well, one, she said that she felt like she got more backlash for what they said, for what they did, than what they were getting. And two, she said that she felt the pressure. That's just a loose quote, I guess, because she was the only woman in the group, or the only woman in, the company, so to speak, in the club, on set. And so a lot of people, first of all, were saying, well, how can you say that? Like, they were saying that she lied. A lot of people felt like she lied. And some people were saying, well, maybe she just misspoke, or she just, it was an accident. She didn't mean to say it like that. She didn't actually mean that she was the only woman. But that is really how she made it seem, because she even then went on to say that her boss was a woman, so she was not the only person that was on, the set. Now, I guess she felt the pressure of being the only woman out of the three of them, but still, she should have been more careful with how she said that. It's not enough to just be like, oh, she misspoke, because people have been known to take things out of context, and even if it's not taken out of context, like the way you said it, the way it comes off as, and the way you really meant it, doesn't matter which way it was, you still have to be careful with how you say certain things, like I said. And then she was talking about, like I said before, the whole issue with her getting backlash for things that they were saying and doing. And I get it. Like, nobody should hold her accountable for the things that they said, because I've said before in a previous video, some time ago that I made, that all three of them were shady individuals. And I stand by what I said. All of them are shady individuals. All of them have either done something or said something that they had no business saying, especially DJ Envy and Charlemagne. They've both done very disrespectful things, said disrespectful things to people that should have never been said to begin with, to the celebrities that they brought on to their show. Now, like I said, they shouldn't be holding her accountable, because it's not like she made them do or say what they did. Okay, that's on them. Although I think what the real problem is, I'm going to say this, and this might sound offensive, but if we can't acknowledge the truth without getting butthurt in our feelings, then something is wrong somewhere. Let's just be blatantly honest. The only reason why they really had Angela Yee on their show was because she has a certain aesthetic, if you get what I'm trying to say, that attracted a certain demographic that they wanted so that they could have followers to their little podcast. Now, her job wasn't to stand up for other women. It wasn't to support other women. It was to fulfill the token aesthetic woman spot. Okay, so that they, like I said, can get their followers. Now, I get it. As she said on the Tamron Hall show, they say what they say. She can't control what they say, and she can't, it's not her job to police what they say and check them all the time, right? It's not her job, I guess, is what she was trying to say, to stand up for, like I said, every woman that comes on there, and to, be the moral police whenever they disrespect those women. Although, at the same time, like I put in the description of one of my previous videos, like MLK said, sometimes silence is complicity. Like she was trying to make it seem like her hands were tied and that she couldn't do anything because she was the only woman on the show, that, that they would say and do misogynistic things, even towards her, and she couldn't really say anything about it. But at the same time, I feel like it was really more that she wanted to be silent because she didn't want to get involved. She didn't want to have a backbone or integrity or stand up to them or say anything to them. Because again, that wasn't her job on the show. It was for her to just sit there, be the pretty aesthetic preference that she was, that drew all of the audience that wanted to see her there, not to, like I said, have integrity. And I think that that's what a lot of women are having an issue with her. While she was saying there was much that she could do, at the same time, there were some things that they said that she cackled along with them that was disrespectful for her to do, especially as a woman. Like, okay, fine. If you don't want to, try to connect with women, or you don't feel some obligation to, like I said, stand up for women or try to check them whenever they said something disrespectful because you are a woman, woman to woman, fine. But at the same time, you don't get to whine about, oh, well, I'm so upset that they are now associating me with the stuff that they said. Guess what? You didn't do anything to disassociate with what they said either. You sat there, you didn't say anything while they said it. Okay, you had your reasons for it, but they said what they said, you went along with it. So one can say you were complicit in what they said. And again, there were moments where she did cackle and laugh and, basically like, ha ha ha, like, she was in agreement or thought it was funny when they were being disrespectful. And to be fair, there were a few times where I guess she was like, oh, don't say that or whatever. But again, she didn't do anything to disassociate with what they said. So quite naturally, people lumped her in that same category. Now, if she had opened her mouth and said something like, oh, you don't say that, like while she was on the show, then maybe things would be different. And if she couldn't do that, she should have took herself to another show. Because what you're not going to do as a woman with integrity who respects other women and isn't just going to stand around while somebody else says something crazy to another woman, you're not going to sit there when they say disrespectful or misogynistic things in your presence or cackle along with them. Because now you look misogynistic, you look like, them basically. So why be upset now? That's how I feel about it. I could be wrong, but that's how I see the situation. Now, Little Mama got on Twitter and they did allegedly, it was going around that allegedly they made her cry. Well, Charlamagne made her cry on the show, which is just disrespectful and just disgusting. But she did come on to social media and she basically said that, because of her lack of action and being silent, she literally made the other women feel like the only woman on the show. If anyone, she should have been able to at least, agree with the other women and connect with the other women that they brought on there and not just, like I said, sit idly by and look cute while they say what they want to, low-key agree with them or not say anything at all, which again, we already established that sometimes silence means you're complicit. Now, to add fuel to the fire, people were also doubling down on what I just said by saying, how can you say, again, that you feel bad that their actions are being reflected back on you when, again, you didn't say anything? And like I said, if you got kicked off the show for saying something, then you needed to get kicked off because that just meant you had integrity. But she didn't really display that. Then also Erica Mena, I don't know, where she came from with this, but Erica Mena went ahead and threw more fire, on the pyre and basically said, well, Angela Yee, you knew that, DJ Envy was married and that he was messing with this woman who claimed she didn't know he was married, and he publicly took her out and displayed his, side piece relationship with this woman for some time. And you never once, woman to woman, pulled her aside and said, sis, he's married. You could have written her a note and slid it to her and be like, I don't know where this came from, but girl, it's for you. It has your name on it. And it could have said, girl, stop it. He's married. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't. So again, like her saying that she's upset that they're, that she's being, thrown under the bus with DJ Envy and Charlamagne for all the things that they've said and done is both quite ignorant and ridiculous because, again, what did she do to disassociate from that? Birds of a feather flock together. You are who you hang around. Like I said before, I don't believe she should be dragged for what they said. They need to be dragged for what they said and for what they did because they did it. Accountability and responsibility needs to be placed on them for their own actions. Although, again, she didn't do a whole lot or say a whole lot to let everybody know that she did not agree with a lot of the stuff that they said and that they did. So low-key, people are dragging her again because of her silence, her dissociation, and for willingly or unwillingly, whether she knew it or not, intentionally or unintentionally, being an enabler to that behavior by not saying anything. Now, she has her own podcast now, and she's had it for, I think, a couple of months now, but I honestly am failing to understand what exactly is she supposed to be accomplishing with this podcast, because unless all of her, people that she's going to be bringing on is going to be men, I don't exactly know, like I said, what she plans on accomplishing, because any ideas or, prospects, for women that she's bringing onto the channel, she kind of burned that bridge again because of this issue that we have right now. Her silence, low-key being complicit, whether it's intentional or unintentional, Like I said, I don't see why any woman would want to go on her show. I'm not saying that no woman would want to go on her show, because there are some women that, they don't care about it at all, okay? They just see her as some person to link up with, to do a collaboration with. But I'm saying, especially with the women that she's already interviewed with the Breakfast Club, who would want to go on there after all of this? Now, again, anybody can jump up in the comments and say, well, her hands were tied. Again, she couldn't check them every time they said something. But again, you set the standard for your own show, for how people treat you and how people see you. And I feel like the standard that she set herself for herself, was not a good standard. It was not a good image. Low key, I feel like she's kind of two-faced. I could be wrong for saying that, but she also gives me these, I don't want to say vibes, but she gives me these vibes where you would think that because she's a woman, like I said, she would be relatable to other women, but she's not, and she doesn't care about being. And before anybody says that she doesn't have to, it's all fun and games until you need somebody to be relatable, and you say, well, hey, wait a minute, you're a woman, we're a woman, woman and woman, you should be able to understand. And then they completely dissociate from you for some reason or another one. Okay, trust me, it's all fun and games until it's not. But she gives me, like I said, this these vibes that she should be able to, like I said, relate woman to woman, but she won't. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel about this ridiculousness down in the comments below, respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all have a very blessed, integrity-filled day.